At the moment, probably exactly. This man is the most desired coach in the world of football. After what he did with his Bayern last season, he did what no one has managed to achieve in the last 10 years. The last time someone other than Bayern Munich won the German championship, the US president was Barack Obama, and the iPhone 5 was the latest innovation from Apple. Bayern had the longest winning streak in the history of the European until Xabi Alonso stopped them, quite recently. When he came to power, the team was at the very bottom of the tournament table. This was the beginning of a new era. The result of that season? Victory in the Bundesliga, German Cup, and the final of the Europa League. It was in the match against Atalanta that Alonso's Chargers suffered their first defeat of the season, and this was, let's remember, the last match of the season. Alonso grew up in a family where his father was a player and manager. Not without this, he became a successful footballer in his career. He won the Champions League with Liverpool and Real Madrid, the World Cup and Euro as part of the Spanish national team, as well as many trophies with Bayern at the end of his career. His position on the field as a central midfielder allowed him to have a deep understanding of the game. Once, Jose Mourinho predicted a successful career for Alonso as a coach. Mourinho noted that Alonso has a special view of football and reminds him of Pep Guardiola. Alonso's playing career developed in such a way that he trained under such outstanding coaches as Mourinho, Guardiola, Carlo Ancelotti, and others. He played in Spain, England, and Germany, and speaks all three languages fluently. All these factors indicate that Alonso has all the prerequisites to become a great coach. However, in addition to experience, he needs to master the basics of coaching. Alonso is young enough to participate in training. He would never admit it, but when asked if he continues to give the best passes during the training process, he blushed and smiled awkwardly, which can be regarded as evidence that he does not just tell his players what kind of football he wants to see. He can show them. They watch and listen because he is trustworthy, and trust is very important for every manager. That's where all these examples come from. Nagelsmann was fired from Bayern because there were rumors that he had lost his place in the dressing room and that the players no longer listened to him. Everyone admits that Nagelsmann is an experienced coach with a deep knowledge of football tactics. However, why should Thomas Müller, who has played at the highest level for many years and won every possible title in world football, listen to a younger and less experienced person? Coaches like Zidane and Alonso will always have the advantage when it comes to trust, especially in top teams. To be heard, the superstars that come from Alonso attract the best players who want to work with him. Let's be honest, Bayern may be playing at an international level, but it is not the most attractive club in the world. But even so, we have seen players like Xhaka, Grimaldo, Hoffmann, and Boniface move there in the summer, and top players like Wirtz decided to stay. If you ask them about the reasons, they all mention Alonso. Many of them saw him play in his youth and hope to learn from him. This is a great basis for a strong relationship between a coach and his team. Trust in coaches without such experience should probably first of all decrease. However, Alonso is not the only former superstar player who is starting a coaching career. The same can be said about Lampard and Gerrard, of the same age and with no less successful playing careers. But what is the beauty of Alonso? Alonso always acted at his own risk. Before, this was his weakness, because he was very slow. When Alonso was 17 years old, his coach made him go through obstacle courses and run short sprints in the hope that this would help him become faster. However, this did not happen. He had other strengths. He saw everything earlier, he understood situations faster, and knew what to do with the ball. He always remained calm and waited for the right moment to make the decisive pass. As a coach, he still considers patience one of his main qualities. After finishing his playing career, he had a chance to quickly start his coaching career and find himself at the helm of a team from the Champions League. With his background, this would have been easy to achieve. However, Alonso chose a different path. He took a sabbatical, then focused on his studies, and returned to his former club, Real Sociedad, to work in the youth academy. It is noteworthy that during these 3 years, bigger clubs repeatedly tried to hire him, but he did not want to leave and continue to study, believing that he was not ready yet. His desire to develop was not new. When he moved to Liverpool at 22, he did not speak English very well and knew almost nothing about England, its history and culture, so he began to read and visit museums to better understand the new country. 10 years later, he moved to Munich and began to study German. He again began to read a lot and visit museums. Soon after, he gave his first interviews in German. Alonso loves to learn. And learning takes time, so he pays special attention to it. As a coach, he could have left Real Sociedad much earlier, but he was waiting for the right time and the right place. According to him, this place was Leverkusen. And now, just a year later, everyone expected that he would move to a bigger job. Liverpool were actively interested in the coach, but then decided to stay in the bar. Alonso puts gradual progress and growth above quick wins. This approach requires a lot of patience, which sets him apart in an industry that is always striving to win another trophy. Football journalists and pundits always strive to understand and define the style of a manager. They analyze his style of play and the system he seeks to instill in his players. Alonso has not had an easy time achieving this understanding and implementing his style. His approach can be described as a combination of Spanish control and German intensity. When looking for new players, he is not so much interested in whether they are familiar with a particular system, but how much their minds are capable of making decisions and solving their own problems. It is not about being robots. They must have enough knowledge to foresee possible events and then decide how best to use them to their advantage. This says a lot about his management style. He does have all the power in the club, but he does not take a top-down approach. He does not tell his players what to do, but rather provides them with all the information they need to make the right decisions for themselves. Although Alonso has made only a few changes to the lineup, each of the players is irreplaceable on the pitch. This allows the workload to be distributed, which contributes to team spirit. He also understands how to delegate effectively. This is a skill that only successful CEOs have: complete trust in their qualified people who are able to solve problems. It's almost ironic that a player known for his longevity on the pitch has managed to outpace many of his peers in the management field. However, when you play the long game like Alonso, it's not about speed, it's about knowing where to go in the world.